Hey, I'm Bob Kauflin, Director of Sovereign Grace Music, and we are doing a live stream of a live stream. It's not really a live stream, we're recording this, we're posting it later. But we, this past week, my home church, Sovereign Grace Church of Louisville, for the first time met virtually online. I imagine as many churches throughout America did. We don't do that regularly, we don't intend to. But since we did it, we've had a number of questions asking about what we did. So we want to take a few minutes to talk about that. And before we do, I want to say it's not ideal that we're doing this, meeting virtually online. There's so many benefits to the gathering. I think you're aware of them. We see people's faces. We have physical contact. We're able to actually make contact with people. We're made to respond to our surroundings. We're not, as one person said, brains on a stick. God's given us bodies that there's something unique about the way God reveals himself to us when we gather. Psalm 40 says, I have told the glad news of deliverance in the great congregation. And it says in the New Testament, the early church gathered. So there are many benefits to gathering, which I'm not going to belabor, although I probably already did. Anyway, right now, in this unique time, in response to the government's, would you say a mandate, whatever you'd want to call it, that we not meet. And for the sake of our members, for the sake of those around us, we are meeting virtually online. Now, I know there are a number of resources out on the internet that can help people with this, but we've received so many requests that I thought it would be helpful to do something like this. I mean, very simply, you can take an iPhone and live stream it to Facebook or I guess some other source, I'm not sure. Yeah. And that's great. What we did was we actually walked through pretty much our whole meeting. We began with an introduction, a call to worship, a couple songs, which I led on the piano behind me. This is the Sovereign Grace offices, by the way, which is where we and a few people met. And then we had a couple songs, we had a pastoral prayer, some announcements, and then a sermon, another song, and then a benediction. You can actually see it on YouTube if you go to Sovereign Grace Church of Louisville, and it's all there. So I asked Grace Nixon, our audio engineer. Grace is right here. She's an audio engineer for Sovereign Grace Music and does a lot of other stuff as well. Thank you so much, Grace. Mm-hmm. Went to Grace last Thursday and said, Grace, how would you like to oversee the live stream of our service? She said, sure, I'd gladly do that. Something similar to that. Yeah. I said, Grace, there are people who can help you. So anyway, she did, and so we're just going to walk through it. And if this is helpful to you, great. If you have your own ideas for how your church did this, please leave them in the comments. I know we're all trying to help each other here. So Grace, I guess we're starting with the camera.
Yeah, we'll start with camera. This is the camera that we used. It's a JVC. We didn't end up using a DSLR, though we wanted to, because after a certain amount of time, the sensor is going to shut off, and so you can't leave the live feed on the entire time. So we just ended up using a regular video camera, and we're using the HDMI output on the video camera. This camera also has an audio input, but we'll talk about audio later. So yeah, that's the camera.
And does the camera have to have an HDMI output?
It does.
Okay.
If you're going to use what we're using is a capture card to capture the live video feed, which is an HDMI input. So,
okay.
Yep.
So we don't know how long we're going to be meeting virtually. No one does really. Maybe a few weeks, Lord willing, a few weeks, maybe longer. But we want to make it as seamless an experience for people as possible. So we go from here.
Yep.
You have a lot of wires.
Yeah. One note: make sure you got your power cord plugged in the whole time and not relying on battery, because if your service is an hour, it's probably not going to last.
That's a great point.
All right.
It's this kind of information that we're just handing out for free.
Yeah. This is our little setup back here.
Wow.
So I am running Pro Presenter, and that's how we're doing our lyrics and title slides and stuff. I downloaded a free software called OBS, Online Broadcasting Software.
OBS.
Online
Broadcasting. I get it.
Great, and free.
Let me just say, I am participating in this just as like the normal person who really doesn't know what's going on. So I'll be asking questions to clarify at different times.
And yeah, we stream to YouTube, which is really accessible to everyone. We created a YouTube channel, and just call it Grace Church of Louisville. YouTube's gonna save all of your live videos after you're done recording, which is great, so people can access them later. So for audio, I just have a little 12-channel mixer set up, and it's, you know, our piano, our lead vocal. I have a room mic set up just for people that were here. We had a few people here singing just to pick up the room sound. We had a headset mic for the pastor, and then a handheld mic for like announcements and stuff.
Is a mixer crucial?
So yeah, I think so, because we had a piano and vocal, Bob, and I just wanted to make sure that the vocal was loud enough over the piano.
Good.
And some people just talk quieter, and you just want to be able to make sure people can hear you what they're saying. So having full control by using a mixer is the best way to go. So I took the left and right main outputs from this mixer and sent them to my Focusrite interface. So another option would be to take your outputs from your mixer and send them directly to your camera if your camera has an audio input on it. And then I have a software that controls my Focusrite as well. So if you might want to look into like an audio interface, 2 channels is fine.
And that's what you look for, audio interface. Mm-hmm. And where did the HDMI from that camera, where did that come to?
Yeah, so...
Are you getting there?
Yep, we'll talk about that. We have an HDMI capture card. It's kind of stuck back here. If you want to come back here. It's made by Magewell. It's basically taking the HDMI output from the camera, going USB into the computer, and this is what's encoding the video to be able to have a live video feed in ProPresenter. So yeah, we'll come and look at ProPresenter now. We created our like thumbnail for the beginning here, and then we have lower thirds template for our lyrics, so you can just have like 2 lines or 3. Some have 3 here. We created a slide for people to text in their offering, and then we put like quotes and scriptures and stuff up here. So you can do all that in ProPresenter if you have it. The great thing about ProPresenter is that it has a live video feed. So in order to enable that, first you go to Preferences and click on Live Video, and then you're going to select your capture card, which is the one I just showed you. So we're going to select that as our video device, and then we're going to go over to Display, and this is really important. You have to check this little box down here that says Enable Siphon, and that's what's going to send it to OBS.
Enable siphon.
Yeah, don't ask me what that means. I have no clue.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but
This is free. Remember, guys, this is free.
Yeah. So in order to see your video, you're going to go up to Actions in ProPresenter and click on Live Video, or you can hit F7. So this is showing our thumbnail, but if I go to the next slide, you'll see our video feed.
Wow.
Live with the little subtitles below.
So that enables you to show text over your live video.
Yes, for sure. And I actually went in and I changed some of the presets of this template so that, you know, it was black on the bottom. I had very simple font. One crucial thing about ProPresenter is that normally people are used to just hitting the clear all slide to take their slides down. If you do that, it's also going to take down your live feed. So I actually went in and added blank slides so that the live feed would stay live in between songs and stuff.
It's really helpful.
So yeah, so that's ProPresenter. After you get that all set up, you're going to go over to OBS, and you're going to add your audio and video inputs as a source. So I added my Focusrite in here. It'll ask you what kind of source it is. So audio input capture is what I chose. And then hit OK. And then it'll give you your selections here for whatever device you're choosing. So I did that already, but I would have chosen my Clarett 8 Pre USB for audio. And I named it Focusrite because it's easy for me to remember. And then I added ProPresenter as a siphon client. So that's how ProPresenter talks to OBS. You add it as a siphon client. And then you would choose ProPresenter output and hit OK.
And what did all that stuff just do?
That connected ProPresenter to OBS.
Oh, okay. So you just get them connected.
Yeah.
And OBS is what's going to broadcast to YouTube.
Or Facebook. So OBS has a couple different options for streaming platforms. If you go over to Preferences, Stream, and hit this down arrow, you can see the options that they give you. So Twitter, Facebook Live, YouTube. I haven't heard of the other ones, so I don't know if they're. I'll actually leave this here because now I'll show you how to connect OBS to YouTube. So you're gonna go up and into your YouTube channel.
And we chose YouTube because not everybody's on Facebook.
Yeah, it's really accessible to
everybody. Can access.
And you can just share the link and anyone can watch it. So you're gonna go hit this plus arrow and then hit go live. And it's gonna give you some options here. You can either use the settings that you used last time to create a stream, or you can create a new stream, which is what I'm gonna do now. And then you would put your title in there. I'm gonna say it's test. And then you would choose whether you want it to be public or unlisted. So if you wanted it to be private and only people that you send a link to could watch it, you would choose unlisted. Public is gonna be open for anyone to use. You could add a description. So here I put our order of service, and then you can upload a thumbnail if you want. If you actually enable this, it's going to start a countdown. So then I'm going to go down to, let's make this bigger, create stream. And it's going to start looking for your streaming software. So down here, there's a generated stream key. So hit copy, it's going to copy that stream key, and then you're going to paste it into OBS. This is in preferences and then stream. And I chose YouTube up here. And then hit OK. And it's going to take a couple seconds for this preview to show up. Actually, while we're waiting for this, one important note is we went our Ethernet cable directly for internet and not just relying on Wi-Fi. If you have that capability, that's really helpful.
Yes, and that was the point that was being made to me about recording it earlier. If you don't have good internet capability, you can... Oh, Grace, you were telling me this. Someone you were talking to was saying that they don't have good internet, so they were going to record it.
They're going to pre-record it, yep, and they were actually going to use an iPhone and for video, and then just use like a separate audio interface and then sync them later in a video software. So that's, a great option too. And then you could always schedule your video to go live on Sunday morning.
Great.
I think I need to actually hit this button, start streaming. It doesn't mean it's actually going to go live on YouTube.
Yeah.
But that's what's going to connect OBS to your YouTube channel.
So you can have
there it goes.
Live chat if you want to.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. You can turn that off if you don't want your live chat. All right, so there's your preview. Sorry, I forgot that step there. There's a lot of steps. So yeah, basically we just had our what's it called? Thumbnail.
Yes.
Our thumbnail up for like 45 minutes, and we were actually live playing a playlist so that people could jump on before the service started and just make sure that it was working on their end. I'm gonna play some music. So you can see my Focusrite levels are coming in right here. So another thing that I learned was you want to run it a little bit hotter than you would normally, because people that are playing it on their phones, it's actually pretty quiet for them, even though it looks like it's almost to the red here. It's fine on their end. So yeah, so you can monitor your audio here, and you can use the mixer to mix while your service is going. And yeah, so we just left that on for 45 minutes before the service started. And then when we were ready to go live, we just put up our first slide. And yeah, we went
And
live.
what do you hit to go live? Is there something?
Everything
YouTube?
is just run in ProPresenter. So like you would normally run your service in ProPresenter.
Wait a minute, to go live on YouTube?
Oh, yeah, dirt.
That's what I was meaning.
Sorry, yeah, you gotta hit this blue go live button here.
Oh, okay.
Then it'll actually go live to YouTube.
That's great. All right, well, I think that's it. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. And again, if you have any ideas, you might have done something much simpler, which would be great. That is complex. But if you can do that, great. What we're trying to do is serve people in the midst of these unique circumstances, and know that's your heart. And just pray that in this season when the church can't gather, where the church scattered, but we're still the church. And Jesus still reigns and rules over his church, and the gospel is still true. God is still sovereign, and we have much to celebrate. So we pray this has been some service to you. And I want to say one more thing. We've gotten a lot of requests about, is it okay to stream your music in our services online? And we would say, yes, it is. Please do that. Feel free to do that. If you can have some kind of attribution, that's great. Sovereign Grace Music, actually Becca, the Sovereign Grace Music admin, is holding the iPhone right now, taking this. And Becca, would that be what they need to do? Just
totally, yep.
Put some kind of attribution?
Just put the credits in there.
Yeah, some kind of credit somewhere. Mm-hmm. But if you can't, that's fine too. Mm-hmm. We are all seeking to magnify our great Savior, and it's a joy to do it together.